Chris, give me a name. Who leads the team in receiving yards this season? Carolina Panthers. Who leads the team in receiving yards? Not receptions, but receiving yards this season. Give me a name.
I'm going to go ahead and say it, man. It's going to be Nalo.
Oh, T-Mac himself?
It's going to be Nalo. He's going to do it. Bryce has his guy.
Bryce has his guy. And from what we saw earlier this week, it's Dan Morgan's guy, too. Let's get this sucker started.
Get dialed in, Panthers fans. Here comes an in-depth look at your team. Exclusive interviews. Locker room insight. Let's huddle up for Panthers Playbook. Here are your hosts, Dennis Cox and Chris Lea.
Welcome back to another episode of Panthers Playbook. That's Chris Lea, Dennis Cox here with you. Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. Who leads the Panthers in receiving yards this season? Again, yards. Not necessarily receptions, but receiving yards this season, Chris. And the reason why I bring that up is because the guy that you mentioned, Tetairoa McMillan, as you think that's going to lead this team in receiving yards this season, from what we saw on Panthers Blueprint, released earlier this week by the Panthers themselves, it looked like number 4 was the guy at pick number 8 all along.
Listen, I got to throw up my diamonds right here. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Blueprint, Jay-Z. That's why I'm throwing up the little diamond, the Rockefeller.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? So anyway, if you don't know about the Blueprint album, I love Blueprint album. So because of the Blueprint, I had to put that out there.
Fair.
Nalo is going to do it. And I think it's going to be because, especially if he's healthy the entire season, that's going to be a big part of it. But I think he's going to get open. I think he's going to be able to catch if he's not open. I think Bryce Young is going to throw it to him. These guys already have a rapport, and I think it's going to look good. I think it's going to work out. And if it's not him, my next choice, Xavier Legette, because I'm putting some belief in number 17. I feel like, some of the offseason that he's had, even though he's been blowing up as a star, he's also been putting that work in, according to head coach Dave Canales. And I think that some of the drops that he had last year, he'll fix that. He got open last year. He'll know how to do that a little bit more in year number 2 and be a little bit more savvy. So I think he'll push Nalo for that number 2 spot. Those two guys, I think, are going to eat very much so this year for the Carolina Panthers.
So Adam Thielen last year, despite only playing in 10 games, led the team in receiving yards last year with 615.
Mm-hmm.
Was second in receptions, actually behind Xavier Legette. This is where I think about yards per catch, yards per reception, I think is going to be a big thing. And this is one of the reasons why they brought in Tetairoa McMillan. One of the reasons why they drafted him is because he can stretch the field. He can get downfield. He can make contested catches against other defensive backs. And his ability to actually catch and run when he does make those plays downfield. I think the yards per reception for McMillan is going to be significantly higher than most other guys on the roster this year.
Really?
Adam Thielen last year was 12.8. He was second on the team. You know who actually led the team in yards per reception last year? It was actually Jalen Coker at 14.9. Believe it or not. Xavier Legette was 10.8 yards per catch. I expect to see McMillan, with the volume of targets that he's going to get, to be in that 15 or so range this year, 14 to 15 yards per catch.
See, I kind of feel like he'll be in like the 10 to 12 range, and the Panthers will be able to get it to him a lot within that range. Of course, he'll stretch the field some and all that, but I'm thinking yards per reception, the leader is either going to be Legette, or I would even say maybe Hunter Renfrow.
If Renfro's even on the team, that's the thing. I think Renfrow in my mind,
I think you try to find a spot for Renfrow.
Yeah, I
think you try to, especially if he's playing well in practice. We don't know what practice looks like, but I'm thinking, Las Vegas Raiders, Hunter Renfrow, understanding he missed last year, he had a condition, he's sick, he's trying to get back to himself. But if he's back to that, Hunter Renfrow, you find a spot for that guy.
I'll have to look up and see here what his yards per reception was, compared to, in his career, especially when those prime year back, with 2021 when he had that. But I'm thinking that, again, Legette last year was 10.1 yards per catch. This is the guy that's supposed to be the catching run guy, right? With his speed and everything that he had. That's the reason why I'm going to say that McMillan is going to probably lead the team in yards per reception. So again, it's the down play, it's the downfield ability that you want to see from McMillan. It's the big play ability that they drafted him for. If he's in the 10 to 11, 12 range, that's just a possession receiver, which is what Adam Thielen was. Adam Thielen was 12.8 last year. I fully expect to have more yards per catch this year from Tetairoa McMillan for sure.
I think the reason why I feel that way is because like he doesn't seem to be the big separator. Now, that could change. We'll see how he's schemed up. A lot of it's going to be dependent on scheme as well and the defenses he faces, because you could 100% be correct, but also you have a 6'4" body, probably matched up against a maybe 5'11", 6'1" DB, and he, had no drops last year, right? And pretty much caught everything that came around his radius. He's big, he's long, and he can get that. I'm thinking that's the perfect guy in a possession type of style. As Adam Thielen's kind of getting older, he's going to be on his way out, and they're probably going to phase him out, especially if the young guys are stepping up. That's the perfect guy. Hey, Bryce, it's 3rd and 4. We need this. Nalo, hit this route. Boom, right here out of bounds. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, he might be that perfect guy for that. So that's why I'm thinking he'll probably get a lot of those, which will mean that he'll probably lead them in reception yards. And then, but he won't have the yards per reception, if that makes sense. And I'm thinking if it works out, if he has a good year and is healthy the entire year, maybe a 700 to 800 yard season his first year. I don't see 1,000 for any receiver on this team right now. Just mainly because if everybody's healthy and if Dave Canales starts spreading it out the way I think he will be, there'll be too many guys with receptions for any one person to get 1,000.
So Hunter Renfrow, that is his best year back in 2021. His yards per reception was 10.1.
Okay.
So yeah, so like again, he works in the short and intermediate. I think again, something that we could see McMillan be able to get down the field.
You could be right. You could be right for sure.
He's not the burner, but again, like on a 12-yard crossing route, he's going to come down with the ball and he's going to get some yards after the catch. Speaking of numbers, I'm going to actually get some numbers for you, Chris.
Throw them at me.
So I went ahead and did the research. If you go back to the 2021 draft class, 2021, I looked at wide receivers drafted in the top 10, going back to 2021. So that's Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle, Devontae Smith in 2021. They went 5th, 6th, and 10th, respectively. 2022, 8th overall was Drake London. 10th overall was Garrett Wilson. No top 10 wide receivers drafted in 2023. And then in 2024, you have Marvin Harrison Jr., Malik Neighbors, and Rome Odunze. So those 8 players drafted in the top 10 as wide receivers over the last 4 drafts. Again, I'm not going to count McMillan because I'm trying to do a comparative here. So if you look at those 8 receivers, I looked at strictly their rookie seasons, just their rookie year stats. You had 4 guys reach 1,000 yards as rookies. Jamar Chase and Jalen Waddle did it in 2021. Garrett Wilson did it in 2022 as a rookie, and Malik Neighbors did it this past year with the Giants with 1,204 yards. All 4 of those guys, 1,000 yards plus. The lowest of that being Jalen Waddle with 1,015. You also look at total receptions as well. You had 4 guys with 80-plus receptions. Jamar Chase with 81. You had Jalen Waddle with 104. Garrett Wilson with 83. And you had Malik Neighbors last year with 109.
Okay.
So you had 4 guys, 80-plus yards, 4 guys, 1,000-plus yards receiving. And then also you had 4 guys with 6-plus touchdowns. Jamar Chase had 13. Jalen Waddle had 6. Marvin Harrison Jr. had 8. Malik Neighbors had 7. So if you actually take a look at the average of all 8 of those players, took the average number of receptions, average number of yards, average number of touchdowns between those 8 guys. You had 78.6 receptions, 1,022.3 yards, and 6.25 touchdowns. If Tetairoa McMillan puts up that, sold. If you tell me before the year, I'm in. I'm in on that for his rookie season. Now, keep in mind, these are, again, just 8 players drafted top 10 over the last 4 years. You do have the Jamar Chase 1,455 yards. And you have the Rome Odunze, 734 yards. Rome Odunze actually had the worst stats out of all of these guys. 54 catches, 734 yards, 3 touchdowns. The lowest numbers out of all of those guys. Everyone else was 60-plus catches, over 860 yards, and at least 4 touchdowns. I mean, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility this season as a rookie if, for example, he was what Devontae Smith's stat line, 64 catches, 916 yards, 5 touchdowns. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility at all this season for Tetairoa McMillan.
See, that's about what I expect from him being a top 10 pick as a wide receiver, give or take here or there. So, again, I probably would expect in the 700 to 800 range because I'm not expecting as much of the downfield as you are. But I have a little bit higher expectation as far as touchdowns. Not as much, but I'm thinking, 7 or 8 should be good because he should be in positions a few times this upcoming season where Panthers are within the red zone and, hey, we're going to give you this ball and you just have to out jump everybody and come down with it, right?
Yeah.
He should be in that position a few times this year. And that should get him a few touchdowns. So I'm thinking a little bit more on the touchdown side. I think you said 6.5 was the average for those guys.
6.25.
6.25. So I'm going a little higher there. I'm going a little bit lower for the total yards. But again, what you just put out there is pretty much in the range of what I would kind of expect for him. If he may not necessarily hit that, I'd still like it. But if he's way below all of that, woo, either the Panthers reached or something is going on with Nalo. So, and also this is if he plays, I would say at least 14 games, right? So
health is a major factor, and obviously in all of this as well. But again, I bring that up. We look at Devontae Smith, that stat line that I just mentioned, the 64 catches, 916 yards. That's about just over 14 yards per reception.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and then the whole
he's that type of receiver.
Guys.
He's a burner. He's that type of receiver. He's a burner.
Yeah, he's a burner. But yes, obviously you look at, Jamar Chase, 1,455 yards, 81 receptions. Again, that's a high number. Just those averages I gave you, Chris, the 78 catches, 1,022 yards, that's 13 yards a catch. Again, that's also being pulled down by the Rome Odunze, 54 catches and 734 yards. So again, you're still looking at 13 plus yards per catch. Okay. And I think I think he's probably more in that 14 range. But the question is, who's going to be playing alongside him? All right. How does Xavier Legette handle this season? Does he stay healthy? He had the procedure on his foot during the offseason. What does Jalen Coker missed some time, but worked off on the side earlier in OTAs, dealing with a soft tissue injury, but looks like earlier this week he was back in some individual drills, didn't do any of the team stuff. But then we hear the news of Tommy Tremble, the tight end that was signed to a contract extension this offseason, just recently had back surgery. And Chris, this is kind of concerning for me when you hear a coach say, hey, a player might not be available at the start of training camp and probably won't see him to the end of preseason, which means you got to rely on second-year tight end Jadeveon Sanders, who you and I are very high on, and then a rookie in Mitchell Evans, a fifth-round pick this year out of Notre Dame.
Yeah. First off, I hope Tommy Tremble is okay and,
likewise,
attacks this rehab in a great way and is able to be available within the first few weeks of the season. If he's able to come back in the preseason, I'm sure they may, unless they really need him in the first game, may kind of have to hold him back just to make sure he's back in playing shape since he's not going to have training camp, it looks like. But this is what I say. Great opportunity for Jadeveon Sanders. He took a challenge from Coach Canales, came back 10 pounds lighter, has been attacking this offseason. Coach Canales wants him to be faster on the field, so that's why he lost a little bit of weight. And I think that he went through enough last year, highs and lows, to understand what the NFL is and what I have to do as a tight end. Also, you mentioned it, Mitchell Evans. You don't want to really have to rely on a fifth-round rookie tight end for whatever you need tight ends to do. But this is a great opportunity for him. Remember, he had the quickest time in the short
in the 10-yard split. Yeah,
10-yard split for at the combine. So, we'll see what you talking about short possession receiver.
Mm-hmm.
That could possibly be where the Panthers could use him as well in that short intermediate range. And, hopefully he is that guy. I'm not expecting like large numbers, but hey, be able to bring in 250, 300 yards for us this season, maybe 2 or 3 touchdowns or so like that, maybe only 2. Hey, it's good year, Rook.
Yeah, for Mitchell Evans, yeah,
good year, Rook. Yeah, we'll take that and come back. But also you got to block well and things like that. So this is a great opportunity for those young guys.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is kind of like one of those blessings in disguise. I hate, trying to, take another sport and bring it across to do a comparison. But me and you were just covering the Carolina Hurricanes. Yeah. Hurricanes are a lot younger than the Florida Panthers, the team that eliminated them from the playoffs. But those young guys, they played 4 rookies. I don't think there were any rookies for the Panthers.
None.
Those 4 rookies got a chance to see what it was like. And now as the Hurricanes are getting more experience, they go into the next couple of seasons, those rookies understand what level you have to take it to much earlier, and they can be able to take a step up. Losing Tommy Tremble early on maybe gives those young guys in second year, Jadeveon Sanders, and we heard, I don't know if you watched Cart Talk with JJ Jansen, but he was saying, you have your rookie year, and then I think he said 3 or 4 games into your second year, you're still a rookie in the NFL in everybody's eyes. So we're going to call Jadeveon Sanders a rookie until week 5, according to JJ Jansen, because that's what they do in the locker room. That's what they do in the locker room, apparently. But Jadeveon Sanders still in his rookie year, and Mitchell Evans as a rookie. If Tommy Tremble can't go at the beginning of the season, great opportunity for them to step up. And I really hope that Coach Canales is going to get them ready. I feel like he will, though.
We saw some flashes last year in the middle part of the year for Jadeveon Sanders. I remember the game against Atlanta. You and I were there. That 28-20 loss. He had 5 catches for 49 yards. Had 7 targets in that game. You and I were also there when they beat New Orleans at home, where he had 4 catches for 87 yards, and we saw that playmaking ability from him. Even saw the game against Kansas City, where he had 3 catches for 49 yards, all in the first half, and then he had that neck injury that knocked him out for the rest of the game. He was inactive the next week, and then the rest of the season, he only caught 4 passes the rest of the way. Didn't really get a lot of targets up until the end of the season in that final game on the road at Atlanta. So that kind of slowed things down for Sanders this year. You and I are really high on him. His athletic ability, we
flashes
see
were
the
there.
Playmaking. It's there.
Yeah.
It's all about putting it together. You talk about young. Jadeveon Sanders, second year. This is who's going to be relied upon to start the year. Second year, Jadeveon Sanders at tight end. Rookie Mitchell Evans at tight end. Wide receiver, rookie Tetairoa McMillan. Second year guy, Xavier Legette. Second year guy, Jalen Coker. And then you also still have on rookie contract Ike Ekwonu. You still have third-year quarterback Bryce Young. You only have fifth-year guy Chuba Hubbard. Fifth-year guy Tommy Tremble. Yeah, you have the experienced vet in Adam Thielen, obviously. But the nucleus and core of this team, really young. It's a really young group, especially at the skill positions. This team is growing together, and it's still a young play caller in Dave Canales. He's only going into his 3rd year calling plays in the NFL. There's still a lot that these guys have to grow and gain and learn. I think that has me excited. It has a lot of Panthers fans excited, obviously.
I love it. Was it last year or the year before where the Panthers were one of the oldest teams in the NFL?
It was just a couple of years ago.
So, now you get a lot younger. And look, that's going to come with growing pains as well. That's why, I'm not expecting 10-plus wins. I'm not expecting that because, you're going to have some guys who are going to have growing pains. There's going to be a game or 2 where we're going to look at Nalo, or some people, not me, some people are going to look at Nalo and say, why do we do the 8th pick on him? Right?
Oh, yeah.
One, I understood why he was picked as high. I didn't agree with it at first because I thought we were going to get defense. But when they did what they did in the second round, it's like, okay, that makes the first round pick good. But he's for sure a top pick. He's going to have a game or 2 where it's not going to look good. And let's add in Jimmy Horn here because I think he's going to get some burn and have some opportunity in his offense as well, along with Jalen Coker and Xavier Legette, who are still very young. those guys may have a few games that will look like a sophomore slump. So we're going to have to be very patient with these guys. But it's not wrong to have high expectations because you do have a year under you, Legette, Coker, Sanders. We expect the highs to be a little bit higher. We expect the lows to be a little bit higher. We don't want that floor to be what it was last year, right?
Yeah,
you have
that gap.
We need to narrow that just a little bit. And, of course, the first-year guys are going to have some troubles. But this also sets up a perfect opportunity for Bryce Young to be the leader he needs to be, because he's going to be the older guy with this young receiving core.
Yeah.
Take out Renfro. Take out Legette. I'm sorry, not Legette. Take out Thielen. Take out David Moore, right? Take out Trimble. Let's leave those guys out of it. Look at all the young guys that are going to be surrounding him, right?
A lot of youth.
Bryce Young is the experience in that area, in that group. So great opportunity for him to learn how to pick guys up when they're down. So that's going to be something else that's going to be placed on his shoulders that we're going to have to look out for as well.
It's like our own version of the Young and the Restless.
Yes. We should play that at the end.
We should.
Yeah.
The Young and the Restless.
Like that. My grandmother loved that.
There you go.
Yeah.
Again, leave your thoughts in the comments. Who leads this team in receiving yards this season? I'm with you. I'm going to go with McMillan as well, by the way. I think McMillan is going to be the guy.
4 in the 4. Hey, man. Panthers, anytime you want to use this for Blueprint, anytime you want to use this for anything else,
you're always welcome.
Hey, listen, Greg Bosham, he's great. He's great. Over there, he's leading them when it comes down to their content. He's an amazing guy. Keep doing your thing, Greg.
Love it. Love to see it. Thank you all for watching and tuning in, tapping in this week.
Tootin'.
Thank y'all for tooting. We'll see y'all next week.